Steve Wallace, and this is my brother Nelson. I'm retired vice president from First American, and the funny thing about that is Steve Albrecht and Fred Albrecht were I was their personal banker for years and years. All this. And Nelson
Speak
was
into the microphone so we don't pick you up on the video.
And Nelson was chief of security at Akron Canton Airport for 33 years, and I was with First American for 13 years. But we were always proud to tell all of our friends that, oh, my dad and my grandfather built the Highland Theater. And then Nelson, when Ron was talking about the demolition, Nelson made a lot of phone calls, stayed on the phone for quite some time. And our cousin Blaine, Walter Blaine, we found out that he had some old 8mm film of it being constructed. And Ron was good enough to put this together, and you can see it online, and you have a rinky-dink piano playing in the background. And then Nelson and Blaine and I are telling our memories of the theater being built. But my grandfather came from Bellefonte, Pennsylvania, State College, and he came here in 1914-17 with his 11 children, and he built the yellow home on South Portage. The very first house, I think, is on the left-hand side. Those are the attorney offices for quite a while, but it's the big yellow brick home on South Highland, on the east side. Right behind apartments, I think. Okay. And he ended up, not ended up, but he was, and I didn't know this for quite some time when I saw an article in the paper that he was John Seiberling's chauffeur at Stan Hewitt. And there was an article a few years back, I saw Louis Llewellyn, and it didn't say his last name. It had a little bit of ploy, I think. Sorry, but Louis Llewellyn got a ticket for speeding through a school zone. And when they look at his record, he had one accident in where he rolled the car over. This was clear back in 1917. But they built the Highland Theater in about 1936-37. They had two jobs going at the same time, about a total of like $230,000. They were building the Medina Theater at the same time. My dad was running back and forth between those jobs. And my Aunt Aline Wallace, she took the film, and they're two yellow Kodak 30 over all these years that were sent to Rochester, New York with a 2-cent stamp on each box. And that's how Ron Higgins, we were able to reproduce these. And you can go online and see that under Save the Highland, not Highland Theater, but SaveTheHighland.com, and you'll see that it's very, very interesting. I was going to say a couple things about the theater itself.
First of all, I appreciate Ron giving us a call and asking if we can come down and talk to you folks today. We feel honored by doing this. I read the Beacon Journal a couple of years ago, and I had saw one thing in there that really struck me: the demolition thing had being taken out to tear the theater down. I got on the phone, was on the phone approximately 4 hours. I didn't even know some of the people who had businesses on either side of the Highland Theater. But in making several of these calls, I was trying to get through to the right person to save this theater, because it's all too often when you have historical things like this that progress comes along and they just want to tear it down, and once it's gone, never can be back again. And so I always remember my father was telling us about when they were building this theater. That was the first air-conditioned theater in the area. Whether he meant the Akron area, or Southern County, or what. And I recall him telling us that he was very concerned about the seating arrangements in this theater. And so what he did is he went out in I don't know, the football field or what it was. He went out and he took cardboard boxes set a series of boxes up to represent seats. And he made sure that whenever they opened that theater, nobody's head would be blocking somebody else's. Other than somebody coming in the Mexican sombrero or something like that. But, and if you notice that theater, and I've been in the theater for years, but that's how the seating arrangement and some of the other stuff. And if you look at the DVD that Ron made us, I'll tell you what, when you just look at these vehicles sitting out there, the Model A's rather, and the old vehicles sitting out there, and I'm sure that when you look back and look at the cement trucks and things, it would really be something. In this thing that he made us, you can see the contractors. I don't think they even knew what a ladder was then, but they were climbing the I-beams by hands, up these I-beams, carrying big things of cement up there to the bricklayers and stuff, and then instead of coming, they slide back down these things. And I remember my cousin was telling us that my grandfather my grandfather was one who built all these big round chimneys like you see at the Goodyear factories and stuff. And he'd come in during lunchtime and he'd find out how many bricks these guys laid. And if they didn't put enough bricks up, he thought they got their pay and that was in. So it was remarkable, but I just couldn't see them taking this theater and tearing it down. And as Dick was saying, I've got another younger brother, so there's all three of us and my cousin. We're the last of the Bohemians, the last of the people at Wallace.
It's my turn.
I got to get him back to home before long. I'll let him talk.
I wanted to say that my father went to school, West High, and he went to school with Harvey Firestone, and he used to tell us about going up there and swimming right up the street. Their mansion was up the street here, like you said. Well, I don't know which one. And they'd be swimming nude while the maids were running around there. But he ran around with Harvey Firestone. They went to West High, and also they lived across the street from Forty's Path School, and he was late every single day. All he had to do was run across the field with his late every single day. And I want to give credit to my cousin Blaine. He's under the weather, and Blaine and Nelson and I, you can hear us on that website telling about the stories. But I remember my grandfather used to tell me that he would walk around the scaffolding, and being a bricklayer that he was, walk around the scaffolding and look at how much the workers did. He'd go to lunch and he'd come back and then he'd say, you, and you, turn in your pay, you're done. And he was just a little guy. And by the way, the Wallace Construction Company had their office right up on the very corner building, and it's still there, I'm not sure who's underneath it, of South Highland and West Market. So Wallace Construction Company was up there. They built a couple of buildings, of the engineering buildings at the University of Wallace Construction. They built the Christian Science Church down here. Is it right down the street? Marshall Avenue, yes. Yeah, and then the Medina Theater at the same time. Yeah. Now this isn't show and tell, but I'm so proud of this because I've had this for years and years, and of course, but this is the actual crowd my granddad gave me.
How did you get that?
He likes me better than you.
That was probably one of the
And that's true. And that's true. He did like me better.